Hello and welcome to the 7th video in this series, showing you how to restore a Triumph Herald or Vitesse. In this video, I'm going to show you a few clips of this car being stripped and removed from the chassis. I will also show you a few stages of the chassis being rebuilt. Then, I'll be having the chassis and body parts blasted and primed. Here you can see I've removed the doors and body tub, along with the dash panel and wiring loom. Now the bulkhead has been removed, I can have a quick inspection of the chassis. Not very good, I'm afraid. This piece here is not even welded. In fact, not much of this chassis has been properly welded at all. Where it has been welded, or attempted to be welded, it is very shoddy work. At least the clutch looks new. The previous owner did give me a receipt for having a new clutch fitted and the chassis refurbished. It cost him £400 20 years ago. I think he was ripped off, especially for the work on the chassis. Unfortunately, the thrust bearing doesn't sound very good. There's no play in the lay shaft, that's a bonus. Now everything is removed from the chassis, I can start taking it apart. It's really important that you do not lose this shim and the one on the other side. They have been placed there in the factory to set up the geometry for the suspension, so you must make sure they go back exactly where they were. This hole here is the main datum hole for all the dimensions on the chassis. You see all the welding on this joint, and yet the only place where it was actually fused together is where the little bright specks are. It just shows you how bad the welding was, doesn't it? Now all the outriggers have been removed, which was very easy to do, as most of the welding had no fusion whatsoever in most of the places. I didn't video myself rebuilding the chassis as I'd booked it into the blasting shop and was in a rush to get it finished for that day. So I can explain how I rebuilt the chassis by using this drawing and some graphics. First, I cut two pieces of 50 by 50 by 4 rectangular hollow sections, 1345mm long, and then drilled an 8.2mm hole, 31mm in from either end. I then positioned them on the chassis main rails, square and parallel to the datum hole shown here, equal about the centre line, positioning them with all the dimensions correct to the drawing. To check they are square and parallel, you should centre pop the cross member at the intersection point between the two datum lines. Then check the diagonal measurements from the holes in the end of the box section to the pop mark at the intersection point of the two datum lines. Then check the diagonal measurements between all 4 holes at the end of the box sections in relation to each other. Then check and double check all measurements before clamping down and tacking in position. To check the angle of the front outriggers, as you bolt it into position, check the position of both holes, and this should set the correct angle. For the rear outriggers, you will need to make a cardboard template as demonstrated here. Get yourself a piece of cardboard and mark along the bottom edge 299mm and then up 39mm. Join the 2 points diagonally and cut it off. That will give you the correct angle of 7.27 degrees. To check the rear outriggers, it is important that all dimensions and angles given on this drawing are correct, otherwise the body will never fit back correctly. Now you can see it all tacked together and ready to weld. You should leave the 50mm box section clamped and bolted in position until all the welding and grinding has been done and it has all cooled down. And now that's all welded, I'm ready to take everything to the media blasters to have it blasted. I prefer to have all the blasting done after the new outriggers and repairs have been done. That way you get all the new parts and repairs and welding blasted as they should be. On the rear body tub, I only had the floors and repair pieces blasted because the large body panels would have got distorted. I would rather clean the paint off them myself by hand. What a difference blasting and new paint makes to the old boot floor. It almost looks like new now, doesn't it? In the next video, I'll be showing you how to repair the doors and fit new door skins. See you then. If you would like to see this Vitesse being fully restored with lots of detail from this to this, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel.